Hey everybody, this is Jack. This is my third video on another gender warrior, my FTM transition documented live. It is June 30th, and in 10 days I will be at my 4-month mark of being on testosterone. For those of you who've been following the last two videos, you can see that I've got quite a significant amount of facial hair happening on the sides of my face, which I'm pretty excited about. And I got a haircut, so that's at least slightly more masculine. And you can see that there's been some thickening here. I'll get closer. In my chin and my vocal cords, obviously. My voice is the deepest it's been so far, and I feel like I had quite a drastic drop just over the past 2 weeks. I wanted to talk about a bunch of stuff today, mostly because I just want to make this video a little bit more interesting and address things outside of what is happening to me right now. For instance, I forgot to touch on this in my last video, but it's certainly worth mentioning. My period, something maybe some of you have been wondering about. The day that I took my first injection of testosterone was like 2 days after my period had ended. And I'd been told by my doctor that there was a good chance that I wouldn't see my period again, although everybody is different. And some FTMs go for months and they're still spotting at least a little bit. Well, what happened was a month on testosterone, hence I was hitting what would be my cycle again. Not only did I have my period again, but it was the heaviest period I'd ever had in my life. And, I was one of those girls that, 3, maybe 4 days of menstruating and I was done. But it went on for like 8 days. It was pretty heavy. But since then, I haven't had it again. I do get cramps, kind of. They're not at all as bad as they were when I was actually menstruating, but I get those kind of like subtle, feelings of things under pressure down there. Women know what I'm talking about. It's really hard to articulate, but I get that around the end of each month so far. But yeah, it's gone, and that's a cause for celebration if I've ever had one, and I do have many at this point. Another thing I want to talk about is binding. It's something that I think is also worth addressing, and I'd like to talk about. I bind. I have not had top surgery yet. I can't foresee in the near future when I'm going to have $5,000 to throw down on something like that, although it's really important to me, and hopefully I'll be able to work that out soon. But I wanted to talk about binding because I know that when I've looked back at videos, and before I started transitioning, I went on YouTube and I watched a lot of FTM videos, and there's a ton of them. I'm certainly not the only one. I didn't come across a whole lot that actually explained, the not so glamorous stuff. Binding is not glamorous. For those of you who know what a corset is, it's the same thing. And we could get into a whole philosophical spiel about society pressures and gender normatives and getting locked into a gender binary and hurting yourself and making yourself uncomfortable in order to fit into that binary. But for the sake of this video, for the sake of this moment, that is quite beside the point. I still bind. For those of you who are interested in this, underworks.com, check them out. That's where I go. They have an option for you to buy in bulk. Do it, or else 8 months later you're going to go back and buy another one and just spend too much money. I have a model 967, and I'm going to show it to you. I'm going to show it to you because I think it's important for you to see that not everything is where it needs to be yet, and it's a lot of work on my end, and it's a lot of work on anybody's end who's transitioning. So this is what I wear underneath everything. So summer, winter, spring, this is it. And it does a really good job of flattening you out right in here. And also, if I can take a step back, you can see it extends. This is not a porn, sorry. It extends down below my waistline, which helps prevent the rolling up issues that a lot of people have with binders. that come up to here. Also, I've seen people, in order to get rid of the roll-up issue, they'll actually cut it up to here so that it just doesn't at all. But for me, I'm pretty hippie, and my chest is sizable, so I felt it was really important for it to extend past my waist so I could kind of like make everything at least proportionate. Um, so while we're here, we'll talk about the upper body. Males have more muscle mass, and so a lot of FTMs are real excited about that happening. What I have right now is I already was kind of toned in my arms, so it's hard for me to tell if there's been much of a difference there. But there has been maybe a little firming up. But just to show you, this is how things are looking in here. I can't really see the videos, so but I'm definitely getting it. It's moving. I'm gonna get some more definition back in here, up through my arms. And weight distribution was another thing I wanted to talk about, and I actually have this site written down where it goes through myths about taking testosterone. And one of the ones that I've heard is that weight gain is a really big issue. After reading this, and let me tell you the website. It's ftmguide.org/myths. And basically at the end, which, I could have guessed, they tell you that eat right, exercise, guys have the same problems that women do with gaining weight. It's just a different kind. And when you start taking testosterone, your body is going to start displacing your body fat. So chest area and mostly your hips. And that fat doesn't disappear, doesn't turn into muscle and you get real ripped and dude-like. It goes to your stomach. And for anybody who is a woman or has been a woman, you know how hard it is to get rid of belly fat. Well, that's where it goes. They did say that if you are already obese and you start taking testosterone, then you will gain weight pretty quickly. So you should probably get on it if that's something that you might be contending with. They also said that if you didn't have a lot of weight, then it's the opposite. Then you won't see a whole lot happen. So I think it's just best to err on the side of common sense and just take care of yourself. I have, like pudge, whatever, and I will work on that in the future, but don't rely on testosterone to like slim you down and take care of that, because that's not what it's there for, and it's probably not what it's going to do. Let's see. Something else I want to talk about, acne. I was warned about it. Yeah. And I'm breaking out just to show you. I don't know if you can see it all up under here. And it's all in my jawline. And the thing is, like, acne runs in my family pretty hardcore too. And I always used to get it in my jawline, especially right before I started menstruating. So yeah, you will experience acne issues for sure.